ओम ध्याये कृष्णतरोदर्शां कृपासीनां कृपामयीं कर्तन्नवदनां देवीं विभूतां सर्वलोचनामालोलाकितकेशां प्रपत्यस्मृतिमण्डितां श्वेतवस्त्राविद्यार्थाङ्गां हेमालङ्कारभूषितां वक्रोडन्यस्तकस्तां ज्ञानभक्तिप्रदायिनीं राम ज्योतिर्मयीं जीवपापसंसारहारिणीं रामकृष्णजनप्राणां तन्नाम प्रगणप्रियं सद्भावरञ्जिताकारां जगन्मातृस्वरूपिणीं स्नेहमयीं शान्तां मुक्तिप्रदायिनीं सर्वजीवदानकर्त्रीं शारदां वत्सदायिनीं ॐ ऐं सर्वदेवदेवी स्वरूपिण्यै श्री शारदादेवी नमः। 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 ॐ ऐं सर्वदेवदेवी सर्वदेवदेवी स्वरूपिण्यै शारदादेवी निवेदयामि। ओम श्रीनिधं रामकृष्ण प्रसादं सर्वदेवदेवी स्वरूपिण्यै श्री शारदादेवी निवेदयामि। ओम अमृतोपकरणमपि स्वाहा। ओम प्राणाय स्वाहा, पावनाय स्वाहा, ज्ञानाय स्वाहा, मुधानाय स्वाहा, समानाय स्वाहा। ओम ऐं पाना स्वरूपिण्यै श्री शारदादेवी निवेदयामि। ओम ऐं सर्वदेवदेवी स्वरूपिण्यै श्री शारदादेवी ओम ताम्बूलकं सर्वदेवदेवी स्वरूपिण्यै श्री शारदादेवी नमः। ओम ऐं बिल्व तुलसी पत्रांजलि सर्वदेवदेवी स्वरूपिण्यै श्री शारदादेवी ओम जननीं शारदां देवीं रामकृष्णं जगद्गुरुं पादपद्मे नमोऽस्त्वा प्रणमामि मुहुर्मुहुः। आमङ्गुष्ठाभ्यां नवीं सन्तनिभ्यां स्वाहा। मध्यमाभ्यमोषधेमनागकरिष्ठाभ्यं औषधकरकलदृष्टाभ्यमुत्थाय आमृजाय ओम श्रीमत्स्वामी विवेकानंदाय नमो। सुमुखाचार्यं जगद्वन्द्यं विवेकानन्दरूपे वीरेश्वरा समुत्पन्नं सप्तऋषिमण्डलागतं ज्ञानभक्तिप्रदाता ध्यायेत्येवं ज्योतिपुञ्जं लोककल्याणकारिणं। ओम श्रीमत्स्वामी विवेकानन्दाय श्रीमत्स्वामी विवेकानन्दाय नमः। सुगन्धक श्रीमत्स्वामी विवेकानन्दाय नमः। ओम भद्रन्दरपुष्पं श्रीमत्स्वामी विवेकानन्दाय भद्रन्दरयोधनं श्रीमत्स्वामी विवेकानन्दाय नमः। ओम धूपक श्रीमत्स्वामी विवेकानन्दाय नमः। ओम ऐं रामकृष्ण शारदा प्रसादं श्रीमत्स्वामी विवेकानन्दाय निवेदयामि। ओम ऐं अक्षरनैवेद्यं श्रीमत्स्वामी विवेकानन्दाय निवेदयामि। ओम ऐं पानार्थं गोलोकं श्रीमत्स्वामी विवेकानन्दाय निवेदयामि। ओम ऐं आसनयोगकं श्रीमत्स्वामी विवेकानन्दाय नमः। ओम ऐं ताम्बूलकं श्रीमत्स्वामी विवेकानन्दाय नमः। ओम ऐं चन्दनपुष्पाय बिल्व श्रीमत्स्वामी विवेकानन्दाय नमः। ओम सर्वधर्मस्थापकत्वं सर्वधर्मस्वरूपकः आचार्याणां महाचार्यो रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। यदाग्नेर्दारिका शक्ति रामकृष्णदायः सर्वविद्यास्वरूपां तां शारदां प्रणमाम्यहम्। ओम परमश्रेष्ठदायी रामकृष्णसमाधिय यो धर्मस्थापनरतो वीरेशं प्रणमाम्यहम्। ओम कालिन्दीपुल्लकमले माधवेन श्रीनारद ब्रह्मानन्द नमस्तुभ्यं सद्गुरो लोकनायक लोकानन्दस्य प्रेमानन्दश्चान्ये ये च वासदाः रामकृष्ण प्रणमाम्यहम्। ओम नमो अरहंतानां नमो सिद्धानां नमो आयरीयानां नमो उवज्जायानां नमो लोये सब्बसाहूनाम् ॐ तत्सत् ॐ सहस्रशीर्षं देवं विश्वाक्षं विश्वसम्भुवं विश्वं नारायणं देवमक्षरं परमं पदं विश्वतः परमादित्यं विश्वं नारायणं हरिं विश्वमेवेदं पुरुषस्तद्विश्वमुपजीवति तदिं विश्वस्यात्मेश्वरगुं शाश्वतगुं शिवमच्युतं नारायणं महाज्ञेयं विश्वात्मानं परायणं नारायणपरो सोऽपि नारायणः परः नित्यकिञ्चिज्जगत्सर्वं श्रूयते शिवा अन्तर्बहिस्तदः व्याप्य नारायणः स्थितः अनन्तम् अव्ययं कविगुं समुद्रेन्तं विश्वशम् अतो नित्यादितस्यान्ते नाथानुपरितिष्ठति ज्वालमालाकुलं भाति विश्वस्यायतनं महत् सन्ततगुं शिलाभिस्तुलं भक्त्याकोशसन्निभं तस्यान्तेषु शिरगुं सूक्ष्मं तस्मिन् स्थितं तस्य मध्ये महानग्निर्विश्वासि विश्वतो मुखः सोऽग्रभुग्वेपजन्तिष्ठन्नाहारमजरक्षभिः हिर्यघोर्ध्वमदशायीरश्मयस्तस्य सन्तता सन्तापयति स्वन्तेहमापादतलमस्तकः तस्य मध्ये शिखा अनीयोर्ध्वा व्यवस्थितः नीलतो यतमध्यस्था विद्युल्लेखे भवाश्वरा नीवारशूकवत्तन्वी पीताभास्कृत्यनूपमा तस्या शिखाया मध्ये परमा व्यवस्थितः स ब्रह्मदस्तिवः स हरिस्सेन्द्रः परमस्वराट् कृतकं सत्यं परं ब्रह्म पुरुषं कृष्णपिङ्गलम् ऊर्ध्वरेतं विरूपाक्षं विश्वरूपाय वै नमो नमः ॐ नारायणाय विद्महे वासुदेवाय धीमहि तन्नो विष्णु प्रचोदयात् ॐ महादेव्यै च विद्महे विष्णु पत्नी तन्नो लक्ष्मी प्रचोदयात् ॐ
Okay, now if you remove it. Yes. After this, all the monastics will offer some flower offering to Swami Vivekananda, and then our proceeding will start.
Can we get the box?
Sagana bhavatu sagana bhunaktu sagane bhavai tejasvinavaditamastu ma vichvishavahi. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Satyayuragrimahi Gato Yajnaya Gato Yajnapadaye Daivi Swasti Swasti Manushevyah Utparjigat Veshajam Sharno Hastu Tripade Sanchatushpade. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Mritangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Please.
Clean this entire place.
Yes, I'm doing.
They are already coming. Good. Just keep it aside and we'll
Can I take the argument? Can I pick up the Yes.
It's a flower. Can you bring the flower? Good. Some flowers. Flowers. Street. We'll see there. Yeah, please go. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Asato ma sagamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityurma amritam gamaya, avirāvirmayedhi. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Good morning, everyone. We are here today to celebrate our Freedom Fest, Interfaith Freedom Fest, we call it. It is an occasion when we remember the day that is what is called freedom. America got freedom, and on this day, Swami Vivekananda attained Mahasamadhi. So this is very important day. And on this day, we'll have inauguration of a new shrine, Jain shrine. So on this occasion, we welcome you all. And as we proceed, we'll have first we'll have Chaitanya prayer by Thomas Lipschitz. And then we'll have Vedic prayers. And then all other programs will follow. So we'll proceed there. Swami Vivekananda, especially he came this world to this continent for a spiritual mission, and it is gradually unfolding. So we are part of this. Let us be proud and we have to feel blessed. That is the main important point today. So instead of dragging a lot of time, we will start with our Chaitanya prayers. So,
Swami,
yes.
up there.
Yeah, Chaitanya prayers.
Okay. But I take your mask off. Yeah, sure. You don't need it. You got a good one. We got the mic. Can everybody hear me okay? Oh, yes. Okay. We're chanting Chaitanya's prayer. The edition of this prayer comes from the Hollywood Center, and that was where it was originally translated. Over the years, we've had many different versions. Yeah, come closer.
Come a little bit.
Yeah, so you're out of that. Yeah, perfect. Because you're out of that. So, this version we got from the Los Angeles Center, and anybody who would like a copy of this, you can simply email the center, and I will personally see that you get a copy of this, so you can have it at home and use it to study as you like. So we'll begin with the prayer. Swami?
So you.
I don't know how to do it. Somebody know how to work this? Make it on the online. Do you have a slide?
We don't have a slide.
No, I don't have a slide for it. I
sorry
wasn't
about
told
that.
about it.
I forward it.
Oh.
Oh.
Well, I will chant this, and we will have a number of people that will say it. It's very simple. It's quite long. It's plain to go. But like I say, anybody who would like to have it to study it throughout the year, I will personally see. Just send a request, and we'll get you a copy. Chaitanya's prayer. Chant the Lord and His glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean, and quench that mighty forest fire, where lust raging furiously within. O name, stream down in moonlight on the lotus heart, opening its cup of knowledge of thyself. O self, drowned deep in the waves of his bliss, chanting his name continually, tasting his nectar at every step, bathing in his name that bath for weary souls. Various are thy names, O Lord, in every name thy power resides. No times are set, no rites are needful for chanting of thy name. So vast is thy mercy, how huge then is my wretchedness, who finds in this empty life and heart no devotion to thy name. O my mind, be humbler than a blade of grass, be patient and forbearing like the tree. Take no honor to thyself, give honor to all. Chant unceasingly the name of the Lord. O Lord and soul of the universe, mine is no prayer for wealth or retinue, the playthings of lust or the toys of fame. As many times as I may be reborn, grant me, O Lord, a steadfast love for thee. A drowning man in this world's fearful ocean is thy servant, O sweet one. In thy mercy, consider him as dust beneath thy feet. Ah, how I long for the day when an instant separation from thee, O Vedanta, will be as 1,000 years, when my heart burns away with its desires, and a world without thee is a heartless void. Prostrate at thy feet let me be, in unwavering devotion, neither imploring the embrace of thy arms, nor bewailing the withdrawal of thy presence, though it tears my soul asunder. O thou, who stealest the hearts of thy devotees, do with me what thou wilt, for thou art my heart's beloved, thou and thou alone.
So we shall have Vedic prayers by Vedanta Vedic chanting group.
Take the mic.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. Ganana Tva Ganapatitum Bhavamahe Kavim Kavinamupamashravasamam Jyeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Anashunmannodyavisida Sadhanam Mahaganapataye Namaha Prano Devi Saraswati Vajevirvajinivati Deenamavitriyavatu Vagdevyai Namaha. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahadevyam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om सहस्रशीर्षं देवं विश्वाक्षं विश्वशम्भुवम् विश्वन्नारायणं देवमक्षरं परमं पदम् विश्वतः परमानित्यं विश्वन्नारायणगुं हरिम् विश्वमेवेदं पुरुषस्तद्विश्वमुपजीवति हरिं विश्वस्यात्मेश्वरगुं शाश्वतगुं शिवमच्युतम् नारायणं महाज्ञेयं विश्वात्मानं परायणम् नारायण परो ज्योतिरात्मा नारायणः परः नारायण परं ब्रह्म तत्त्वं नारायणः परः नारायण परो ध्याता ध्यानं नारायणः परः यच्च किञ्चित् जगत् सर्वं दृश्यते श्रूयतेऽपि वा अन्तर्बहिश्च तत्सर्वं व्याप्य नारायणः स्थितः अनन्तमव्ययं कविगुं समुद्रेऽन्तं विश्वशम्भुवम् पद्मकोशप्रतीकाशगुं हृदयं चाप्यधोमुखम् अधो निश्यामितस्यान्तेनाभ्यामुपरि तिष्ठति ज्वालमालाकुलं भाति विश्वस्यायतनं महत् सन्ततगुं शिलाभिस्तुलं भक्त्याघोषसन्निभम् तस्यान्ते सुशिरगुं सूक्ष्मं तस्मिन् सर्वं प्रतिष्ठितम् तस्य मध्ये महानग्निर्विश्वाचिर्विश्वतो मुखः सोऽग्रभुग्विभजं तिष्ठन्नाहारमजरः कविः तिर्यभूर्ध्वमदशायी रश्मयस्तस्य सन्तता सन्तापयति स्वं देहमापादतलमस्तकः तस्य मध्ये वह्निशिखा अनीलोर्ध्वा नीलतो यदमध्यस्थाद् विद्युल्लेखे वभास्वरा नीवारशूकवत्तन्वी पीताभास्वत्यनुपमा तस्याः शिखाया मध्ये परमात्मा व्यवस्थितः स ब्रह्म शिवः सह निस्सेन्द्रसोऽक्षरः परमस्वराट् हृदगुं सत्यं परं ब्रह्म पुरुषं कृष्णपिङ्गलम् ऊर्ध्वरेदं विरूपाक्षं विश्वरूपाय वै नमो नमः नारायणाय विद्महे वासुदेवाय धीमहि तन्नो विष्णुः प्रचोदयात् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ तत्सत् श्रीरामकृष्णार्पणमस्तु
Thank you, Jyotima and Mr. Now I humbly request Revered Swami Chandrasekhar Anandji, Minister in charge of Vedanta Society of Portland, to address us in welcoming and giving us an introduction of today's program.
May we be protected, may we be nourished, may we strive with energy and vigor to achieve the truth. May our study be enlightening and not give rise to hostility. Lead us to truth and not to untruth. Lead us to enlightenment and not ignorance. Lead us to immortality and not death. Let the self-manifest Atman grow in me. Om, peace, peace, peace. Dear friends, we have gathered here, as we know, to celebrate the American Independence Day, that is July 4th, 2022. But here we celebrate in a different way, not in a traditional way, so that we know the freedom. What is freedom? As we are bound and we feel we bound by various factors. First, we are bound, we feel that we are within this body. We cannot step out from it. But freedom does not mean that we should be bound with some agency, some factor. And then we find ourselves bound by senses, sense impulses. Therefore, freedom is incomplete if we are bound by any factor. Political independence is good, but it's not all. It is the spiritual independence that's important. Otherwise, our freedom is not complete. Therefore, we have to search and find out various ways and means by which we achieve that freedom. So here we find Sri Ramakrishna comes to our help. He practiced himself for 12 long years, various spiritual streams, various spiritual practices, and attained that highest freedom. And after his 12 years of penance, he uttered few words. The truth that he realized, as many faiths, so many paths. If we find we are also bound because of our dogmas, doctrines, various isms, and people are fighting, and lot of bloodshed has happened because of this. So get rid of this. He practiced harmony of all religions. And here, this precinct is very precious and also pristine. And it is pure as we find in a wooded area. This whole area, 89 acres of land, we consider this as a shrine, a temple. And in this temple, we have various shrines to show us that all paths lead to the same goal if it is, and with, say, intensity and also sincerely. One should be earnest one's effort. That is the main thing. And today we are going to celebrate the inauguration, or we'll inaugurate the Jain shrine. And the one point is there, Aneka Antavad. That means truth has various faces. So it is not Sri Ramakrishna that he discovered a new truth. This was discovered in our Vedas also. Ekam Sat Vipraha Bahudha Vadanti. Truth is one, but sages depict it or say it in different ways. And we find this even in Gita, Bhagavad Gita, and even Shiva Mahimna Stotra, where God is praised that people follow various paths. Some may be crooked, some may be straight, but all reach to you. Therefore, this is not new truth, but presentation is new. Of course it is new. That is why the emphasis is given. And we'll see later also Jainism emphasizes the same truth. The problem is with time we forget the truth and we are bound with some practices, some dogmas, doctrines. So with time, we have to come out of that. So we have gathered here today for this. Today we have from Florida, Vedanta Society of Florida, Swami Ishtanandaji Maharaj. Ishtanandaji Maharaj is one of our senior most Swamis, and I welcome him on this occasion. Swami Ishtanandaji joined the Ramakrishna order in 1976 at its headquarters, the Ramakrishna Math, Ramakrishna Mission in Belur Math, near Kolkata. He had the good fortune of coming in contact with the monks and Ramakrishna Mission, many of whom were direct disciples of Holy Mother, Sri Sharda Devi and Swami Brahmanandaji. Since when he was a student and growing up as a teenager in northern India, he received initiation from Swami Vivekananda Maharaj, our 10th president of the order, in 1969, and his sannyasa ordination in 1986 from Srimad Swami Gambhiranji Maharaj, the 11th president of the order. Before being sent to USA, he served several educational institutions of Ramakrishna Mission in India, mostly at Vidya Mandira, that is near Belur Math, and it's close, very close, and Cherrapunji, Meghalaya, and along Arunachal Pradesh. It's a northeast province where many tribals are there, and Swamiji had good fortune to serve them. He served the last two centers as their secretary and monk in charge. Swami Ishtananda arrived in USA in February 2000 and joined the Vedanta Society of Southern California, Hollywood, as its assistant minister under Swami Swahanandaji Maharaj. Many of you know him. He was responsible for managing the San Diego branch of the society during the 8 years of his ministry in Southern California. Besides conducting weekly services at the monastery, Swami Ishtanandaji Maharaj actively participated in the activities of Inter-Religious Council of San Diego in various capacities. He was regularly invited to give talks on Vedanta at various educational and other religious institutions. He assumed charge of Florida Center, Vedanta Society, that's in St. Petersburg. In 2007, as the minister and spiritual head of the Vedanta Society of St. Petersburg, Florida, the center has shown signs of some rapid organic growth under his leadership. As the head of this center of Ramakrishna Mission, he gives lectures and classes mostly to the members of St. Petersburg branch as well as to other devotee groups scattered in different cities of North America from time to time. And I had good fortune to be with him in a training center. We have a program where professionals training center. So we were together for 1 year. So we were very close, and we are close. And he's very affectionate to us. And when I requested him to come over here, he immediately agreed to it. He came, I think, 2 or 3 years back also. So on this occasion, Maharaj, most welcome. And I also welcome to you all, because you are in various forms. It is God who dwells in all forms. As Swamiji said, Bohu rupe shammukhe tomar chhadi kotha kuji chusha. It is God who is in front of you, keeping him away or leaving him aside where thou seekest God. He who loves Jiva Therefore, that we are striving to achieve the same goal. We may have various persuasions, we may have various ways and means, but goal is the same. So on this occasion, I welcome you all and thank you.
Thank you, Swamiji. From the magic book. So I request.
You want just the mic? Or you want
Oh, sure.
If you want.
No, I think it's better to
Sure.
look at that. Okay. So, good morning. And my reading is from the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. So, this is from M's third visit to Sri Ramakrishna in February 1882. And Swami asked me to read something about love of God and how to live with God in life. And it kind of gels with the very beautiful satsang that we had yesterday night from Maharaj in our center to the very few who visited us. We wanted this crowd. Unfortunately, teacher, master, he who is the Lord of the universe will teach everyone. He alone teaches us, who has a beings, who has provided me with love to bring them up. The Lord has done so many things. Will he not show people the way to worship him? If they need teaching, then he will be the teacher. He is our inner guide. Suppose there is an error in worshipping the clay image. Doesn't God know that through it he alone is being invoked? He will be pleased with that very worship. Why should you get a headache over it? You had better try for knowledge and devotion yourself. This time, M felt that his ego was completely crushed. He now said to himself, yes, he has spoken the truth. What need is there for me to teach on my bed? And I am inviting my friend to share it with me. I know nothing about it. I am trying to teach others. What a shame. How foolish I am. This is not mathematics or history of God. What he says appeals to me. This was M's first argument with the master, and happily his last. Master, you were talking of worshipping the clay image. Even if the image is made of clay, there is need for that sort of worship. God himself has provided different forms of worship. He who is the Lord of the universe has arranged all these forms to suit different men in different stages of knowledge. The mother cooks different dishes to suit the stomachs of her different children. Suppose she has 5 children. If there is a fish to cook, she prepares various dishes from it, pilau, pickled fish, fried fish, and so on, to suit their different tastes and powers of digestion. Do you understand me? M. Humbly. Yes, sir. How, sir, may we fix our minds on God? Master. Repeat God's name and sing his glories and keep holy company. And now and then visit God's devotees and holy men. The mind cannot dwell on God if it is immersed day and night in worldliness, in worldly duties and responsibilities. It is most necessary to go into solitude now and then and think of God. To fix the mind of God is very difficult in the beginning unless one practices meditation in solitude. When a tree is young, it should be fenced all around, otherwise, it may be destroyed by cattle. To meditate, you should withdraw within yourself or retire to a secluded corner or to the forest. And you should always discriminate between the real and the unreal. God alone is real, the eternal substance, unreal, that is impermanent. By discriminating thus, one should shake off impermanent objects from the mind. M. Humbly. How ought we live in the world? Master. Do all your duties, but keep your mind on God. Live with all, with wife and children, father and mother, and serve them. Treat them
as if they were very dear to you, but know in your heart of hearts that they do not belong to you. A maidservant in the house of a rich man performs all the household duties, but her thoughts are fixed on her own home in her native village. She brings up her master's children as if they were her own. She even speaks of them as my Rama or my Hari or by their names. But in her own mind, she knows very well that they do not belong to her at all. The tortoise moves about in the water, but can you guess where her thoughts are? They are on the bank where her eggs are lying. Do all your duties in the world, but keep your mind on God. If you enter the world without first cultivating love for God, you will be entangled more and more. You will be overwhelmed with its danger, its grief, its sorrows, and the more you think of worldly things, the more you will be attached to them. Thank you. Sri Ramakrishna said, and now we are sitting in a forest, so meditate.
Thank you, Shai. Now it's just like a gift unopened, and there might be some surprises. I don't know. It's a recitation on July 4th by Susie. I don't know what topic she's going to talk. Something surprise.
You last year, I hope you'll remember this poem. So I'm going to share with you a very Vedanta. And to share the context. So Swami Vivekananda used to say, "I love Yankees, and why not? America provided him with a world stage to broadcast his teachings to the whole of humanity. And he in turn presented his best teachings in American soil over a period of about 3 very productive years of his brief life of 39 years and 5 months. He loved America from the bottom of his heart, and he also loved freedom. Freedom beyond all limitations, limitations of body, of mind, freedom beyond all barriers, borders, cultures, etc. And Swami Vivekananda attained freedom in this very life. So on a very special day, which was 4th of July, 1898, he was traveling with some American disciples in Kashmir, and as part of a domestic agreement for the celebration of the day, the anniversary of the American Declaration of Independence, he presented the following poem to be read aloud at an early breakfast. He visited the Amarnath Cave Temple of Ice Shiva on August 2nd, 1898, and he received a boon from Lord Shiva to choose the day of his departure from this world. Swami Vivekananda loved America so much that he chose this very day, July 4th, and he passed away after only 4 years on July 4th, 1902. So now I'm going to share the poem with you, and I invite you to take a deep breath, close your eyes if you'd like to, and try to envision the imagery. Behold, the dark clouds melt away, that gathered thick at night, and hung so like a gloomy pall above the earth. Before thy magic touch, the world awakes. The birds in chorus sing. The flowers raise their starlight crowns, dew set, and wave thee welcome fair. The lakes are opening wide in love, their 100,000 lotus eyes to welcome thee with all their depth. All hail to thee, thou Lord of light. A welcome you to thee today, O sun, today thou sheddest liberty. Bethink thee how the world did wait and search for thee through time and clime. Some gave up home and love of friends and went in quest of thee, self-banished, through dreary oceans, through primeval forests, each step a struggle for their life or death. Then came the day when work bore fruit, and worship, love, and sacrifice, fulfilled, accepted, and complete. Then thou, propitious, rose to shed the light of freedom on mankind. Move on, O Lord, in thy resistless path, till thy high noon o'erspreads the world, till every land reflects thy light, till men and women with uplifted head behold their shackles broken, and know, in springing joy, their life renewed. Thank you.
Thank you, Susima. Time is governing all of us, and in fact, we are very good today in keeping up our timing. And so I appreciate all the presenters. Hopefully, it will be the same going on. Our train is on schedule. The complete works of Swami Vivekananda, reading from complete works of Swamiji by our Kathy Bracken. She was a bit worried yesterday that whether she can read from the letters of Swamiji. So I said yes. So that letters are also part of his whole work. So yes, please, Mother, please.
So this is a good follow-up from Susie's, because this letter shows his love for America. This is a letter that Swami Vivekananda wrote from Chicago, November 2nd, 1893. It was written to his friend Alasinga. Dear Alasinga, I made the acquaintance with Dr. Wright, professor of Greek in the Harvard University recently. He sympathized with me very much and urged my need to go to the Parliament of Religions, which he thought would give me an introduction to the nation. As I was not acquainted with anybody, the professor undertook to arrange everything for me, and I eventually came back to Chicago. Here, I, together with Oriental and Occidental delegates to the Parliament of Religions, were all lodged in a very nice house. On the morning of the Parliament of Religions, we all assembled in a building called the Art Palace, where one huge and other smaller temporary halls were erected at the sitting of the Parliament. Men from all nations were there. From India were Mazumdar of the Brahmo Samaj, Mr. Gandhi representing the Jains, and Mr. Chakrabarti representing Theosophy. There was a grand procession, and all were marshaled onto the platform. Imagine a hall before and a huge gallery above, packed with 6,000 or 7,000 men and women representing the best culture of all the country. And on the platform, learned men from all nations all around the earth. And I, who never spoke in public in my life, to address this assemblage. It was opened in great form with music and ceremony and speeches. Then the delegates were introduced one by one, and they stepped up and spoke. Of course, my heart was fluttering, my tongue nearly dried up. I was so nervous and couldn't venture to speak in the morning. The speakers before me were prepared and came with ready-made speeches. I was a fool and had none, so bowed down to Devi Saraswati and stepped up, and Dr. Barrows introduced me. I made a short speech. I addressed the assembly, sisters and brothers of America. A deafening applause of 2 minutes followed, and then I proceeded. When I finished, I sat down, totally exhausted with emotion. The next day, all the papers announced that my speech was the hit of the day, and I became known to the whole of America. His name be praised. From that day, I became a celebrity, and the day I read the paper on Hinduism, the hall was packed as it had never been before. I quote you from one of the papers. And this was in the paper. Ladies, 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 packing everywhere, filling the corner. They patiently waited and waited until the papers that separated from Vivekananda were read. Dear friend, you would be astonished if I sent to you the newspaper cuttings, and you already know that I'm a hater of celebrity. Suffice it to say that whenever I went on the platform, a deafening applause would be raised for me. And how to speak of the kindness of Americans? I have no more wants, I am well off, and the money that I require to visit Europe, I shall get from here. Many of the handsomest houses in the city are open to me. All the time I'm living as a guest of somebody or other. There is a curiosity in this nation, such as you meet with from nowhere else. They want to know everything. And their women, they're the most advanced in the world. The average American woman is far more cultivated than the average American man. The men slave all their life from women for money, and women snatch every opportunity to improve themselves. They are very kind-hearted, frank people. Everybody who has a fad to preach here comes here, but I'm sorry to say, most of those are not sound. The Americans have their faults too, but what nation has not? And this is my summing up. Asia has laid the germs of civilization, Europe has developed man, and America is developing the woman and the masses. I must remain in this country at least through the winter and then go to Europe. The Lord will provide everything for me. You need not disturb yourself about it. I cannot express my gratitude for your love. Day by day, I feel that the Lord is with me, and I'm trying to follow his direction. His will be done. We will do great things for the Lord, for the world, and for the sake of doing good and not for the name of fame. Be of good cheer, my friend, and believe that we are selected by the Lord to do great things, and will do them. Hold yourself in readiness. The Lord will bless you. Yours with blessings, Vivekananda.
Very good. Wonderful. So when we have mother's grace, nothing can stop us in achieving whatever we want. So as many, Sri Ramakrishna's important message, as many faiths, so many paths. Now I request Brigadier Swami Chandrasekharanandaji to enlighten us what Jain Dharma and its practices are.
Dear friends, just now we have heard Swamiji loved you, you Americans. And for that matter, he loved freedom. All spiritual leaders loved freedom. And we are here to think about the teachings and the practices of a great religion started by Jaina. So Jaina came from Jaina. So we start with our prayer, then we'll proceed on that. Om Namo Arihantanam, Namo Siddhanam, Namo Aryanam, Namo Uvajjayanam, Namo Loya Sabya Saho, Eso Panchanamo Karo, Sabya Pavapana Sano, Mangalam Cha Sabbesim, Padavam Havai Mangalam. The meaning is, I bow in reverence to Arihantas. I bow in reverence to Siddhas, the perfected ones. I bow in reverence to Acharyas, all the teachers, all the gurus, because of whom we are here today. Whatever we are today, it is because of our teachers, the grace of teachers. I bow to reverence to Upadhyayas, who have disseminated, who have transmitted these teachings to us. And they practice themselves. It's not that they just only told from the pulpit. I bow in reverence to all sadhus. They are the vehicles. So we are all our saints and seers, all our great monks. This fivefold salutation. So they start with all their rituals or whatever. By the way, we tried to find a Jain speaker, but we failed because of some reason I don't know. Even last time also we tried, and after lots of trial, then we found one. So unfortunately, I have to present this, though I am not totally familiar with it. But whatever we can find from our scriptures that I am presenting. So please excuse me for this adventurism. Yeah. So these are 5 prayers. Destroys all sins. And amongst all auspicious things, amongst all auspicious things, because these are the ways, auspicious way. It is, and is the most auspicious one. Jai Jinendra. Jinendra means who has conquered all limitations, lust, greed, etc. So this way, we start. As we know, Jina, he who has mastered. But before that, I would like to present one country, which is called India. It was invaded umpteen number of times. It was destructed umpteen number of times, looted almost everything, slaughtered in millions. But again, it regenerated. Swamiji said, if survival of the fittest is the rule of strength, then it is the most strong country. Because it survived all the vicissitude, all the opposing forces, slaughtering. Even now, lots of things are happening in India. But it has something special, the spiritual strength. People think that physical strength is strong. Yes, very strong. Can kill millions in one push of button, as you may have seen. But this is not strength. It's weakness, cowardice. Strength comes from within. That we have to feel. That strength is a spiritual strength, moral, ethical strength. India has got that strength. And Swamiji said in one place, there must be freshness and vigor of thought behind a virile dress, more than enough to strengthen the whole world. Exist in the Upanishads. So Swamiji said, strength comes from Upanishads. And what is the teaching of Upanishads? Each soul is potentially divine. You are divine. I am divine. The whole world is divine. This divinity is the strength. If a man thinks that he's a body, he's nobody. Therefore, one should find his own self. And that is what, time and again, all our teachers taught this. But he said, Advaita is the eternal mine of strength. But it should require to be applied. But the problem is in India, we have discovered this truth long ago. But somehow we failed to apply it in our day-to-day life. That is why all the teachers came to teach us how to apply it in our own lives. That is very important. Think of that time of India when various kinds of sacrifices, yajnas, recitation of mantras, ritualistic worship was going on. And lots of slaughter of animals were happening in the name of religion. So that time, Mahavir, his name was Vardhan. He was born in a royal family. His name was Vardhan. But Mahavir uh, incarnated at that time, in that situation, to show us that rituals are okay, that's okay, but that is not the slaughtering of animal is not good. So, two religions, it's called dharmic religion. Dharmic. It's not religion, it's not ism. We say Jainism. It's not ism. It's way of life. It's living a life, walking on a path, not theoretical. One should walk on this. Then only one can understand the reality. So Swamiji came and Swami Vivekananda identified the importance of Bhagavan Mahavir and Bhagavan Buddha. So these are three. We call Buddhism, Jainism, Hinduism. Actually, these are not isms. And Sikhism. These are way of life. It's called dharmic path. Dharmic. Dharma means righteousness. Those who follow righteousness. So that's called dharmic. So it's the Jaina Dharma. So Swamiji says, what could have saved Indian society from the ponderous burden of omnivorous ritualistic ceremonialism, with its animal and other sacrifices, which all but crushed the very life of it, except the Jaina revolution, which took its strong stand exclusively on chaste morals and philosophical truths. Jains were the first great ascetics, and they did some great work. Don't injure any and do good to all that you can. And that is all the morality and ethics. And that is all the work there is. And the rest is all nonsense. The priests created that, threw it all away. And then they went to work and elaborated this one principle all through, and it is most wonderful, ideal. How all that we call ethics, they simply bring out from that one great principle of non-injury and doing good. In another place, Swami said, to be good and to do good. This is the whole of religion. So gradually, America is also following this. So this is the strength of India, country, where various teachers came and preached this truth. So this is the strength of and freshness of vigor of thought behind a virile dress. So that is important. But India cannot be confined there. So that is why it is spreading. Where there is war going on, but that is not the way. It is peace and tranquility by which man can cultivate one's own real self, reveal one's and manifest one's real self. That is important. So now we'll go to the path, how they practice it. According to Jainism, there are two entities. One is Jiva, say I'm living, you are living, and Ajiva means those who are not living. So Jiva and Ajiva, that's the first thing. And then they have some practices, some ethical vows, and also say the path they practice. And you must have seen, nowadays we see many masks. But actually Jains, they started this long before we conceived. So that no jiva, no living thing is harmed. Such a consideration, just think about it. So they have 5 practices. What are those? Ahimsa, non-violence. The main important teaching is non-violence. Violence, not only physical harm, but one should practice it by thought, word, and also physically. Thought, word, speech. But through speech, we should not harm others. Even in thought, we should not have ill feeling for others. So this is very important. Why? When you think something ill of somebody, you spoil first yourself. And we become angry. Why we become angry? Because we have some ill feeling for others. So thought, words are very important because these control our physical activities. Whatever we think, if thought is predominant, then we speak the same words. That is why we need to correct all these 3 points. Most of the time we forget. That is why whatever we think, that we should speak. And whatever we speak and think, that we should behave. The thought, word, and also the behavior pattern. Very important. We may talk big, tons of words, but if we do not practice it, then it has no worth. So this is very important. Ahimsa, non-violence, through our action, through our speech, and through our thought. We should not harm anyone. Why? Advaita, because apparently we are many. Avibhaktam cha vibhakteshu yajnana. That means that which is undivided, not divisible. That appears as divided. If you think ill of someone, you are harming yourself because there is no other one. For instance, when we dream, it is we who dream. It is we that appears as plants, animals, and all other creatures in our dream. Similarly, we create even this world also. Therefore, if we think ill of someone, we think ill of ourselves. Therefore, one should be very careful about it. This is the practice, very important. Then comes truth. Truth means truthfulness, that means satya. Ahimsa, satya. Truthfulness is also important. Why? Because whatever I speak, I must be true to myself and true to others. And that's that truth to be followed physically, through speech, thought, and also in behavior pattern. And then comes asteya, non-stealing. Many times you steal. And bhaver ghare churi, it's a Bengali expression by Sri Ramakrishna. We bluff, we think that we are bluffing others. Actually, we bluff ourselves. Advaita gives that platform, as Swamiji before said, that Advaita is the Advaita is the eternal mind of strength. When we feel that we are all one, how can we be untruthful? How can we be harmful to others? How can we take anybody's position? So that also to be practiced with action, speech, and thought. Then come brahmacharya. That means brahmacharya, brahmani charati yahasa. That means who walks in the path of Brahman. That means righteous path. So here it is not dissipating one's energy in wasteful manner. So here comes the celibacy, continence. For grihasthas, those who are householders, there is some option, some concession is given that they should be in one family. It's not that it's like animal. Anyway, I don't want to elaborate that, you know very well. So, brahmacharya is also very strong point in their practices. And especially those who are monks and nuns, they practice it. Then comes aparigraha, non-attachment. Aparigraha means not to accept any gifts from anyone, but non-attachment means not to get, I may not physically take it, but mentally I'm possessing that. That also should not be there. Aparigraha, non-attachment or non-possessiveness. We want to hold it. Not only we want to possess it, then we want to keep it. Then we hire a space, there are various spaces. We don't have enough space in our garage, so we hire a place. And one day we have to say bye-bye to this world. So anyway, even the nuns, they don't wear any, even there is no possession of their clothes. No possession for even eating, drinking. That is why grihasthas, they cook food and they take from their vessel and they on hand and they eat and drink. So non-possessiveness, this is practice. It's not theory. It's not dogmas. It's practice. So aparigraha. But we can find the same teachings in yoga also. Yoga has got 8 limbs. Yama, niyama, asana, pranayam, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. So yama means whatever you should not. Then niyama means whatever you should. That means how to lift oneself. So niyama, there comes shaucha, santosha, tapaha, swadhyaya, ishwar pranidhan. Shaucha means cleanliness. Cleanliness, mental cleanliness, physical cleanliness, and even thinking cleanliness. Santosh, satisfaction, happiness, whatever one situation, anyone. Now we are all the time unsatisfied. Why did you do that? He did it. And it is because of him it happened. It is because this is our story, everyday story. But if we are santosh, if we have satisfaction, then we will not see this. Any situation, fine. That's the situation. What can I do? Nowadays, that the gas price is going up. What can you do? So we have to forbear. Anyway, shaucha, santosha. Then come tapaha, effort. One's self-effort is very important. Swadhyaya. Swadhyaya means there upgrading one's knowledge. And Ishwar Pranidhana. And having faith in God or truth or higher power, whatever you say. But Jainas, they don't believe in no need of God. That's why Swamiji said in one place, the Buddhists or the Jains do not depend upon God. But the whole force of their religion is directed to the great central truth in every religion. Whatever I said, these are the main teachings of all religions. To evolve a God out of man, to evolve a man, to evolve a God out of man. We don't need any imaginary God. You all are God. So we have to invoke that God and lift ourselves to that. They have not seen the Father, but they have seen the Son. That means Jina or Buddha. And he that hath seen the Son hath seen the Father also. So why need to imagine such a God whom we do not know where he sits on which branch of the tree? Rather, let us find out God within and let us evolve that. So this is the teaching of Jainism or Jain Dharma. Now, one main important point is Anekantavad. Anekantavad means truth has many sides, many-sidedness of truth. We say, no, what I believe, what I think, that's the best. And that everybody should follow. And those who do not follow, that means they are enemies. So that should not be the case. Many-sided reality. What Sri Ramakrishna has discovered is the same thing. As many faiths, so many paths. So Swamiji explained that we can see sun from various angles, various distances, and various heights, and we take photos of that same sun. It's the same sun. It may look big or small. If you go closer to sun, it will look big. Even nowadays, infrared and all these kinds of cameras, you can see what is happening there. So all these are various pictures of the same truth. It is not confined. So what I believe in, that is the only truth. Exclusively, that is one. All others will go to hell, and that's not the right thing. So many-sidedness of reality, Anekantavad. How many minutes we have? So then comes karma. I'll briefly do that. Karmavad. So whatever we do, we have a samskar. And if I delay one day, then this next day also will be delayed, and second, third. So this is whatever we do, we impress on ourselves with a samskar, accumulated impressions. And that becomes our secondary nature. So that's why karmavad is commonly in Hindu Dharma, Jaina Dharma, Buddha Dharma, and also Sikh Dharma. Actually, these are the various branches of the same eternal religion that we believe. Then comes Janmantarvad. That means transmigration. Whatever you do in this world, if you are enmity with someone, that will accumulate on you. And that will be transmigrated with this subtle body to the next. So what's the goal of life? Because goal must be learned first. If you are going somewhere and if you sit in a cab, the first question the cab man will ask, where do you want to go? If you say, take anywhere. So that's not the answer. No, sir, please tell me where to go. Then you'll pinpoint, okay, go to downtown. So we need to know what is the goal of religion and what is this Jaina Dharma also teaches. That's called moksha, freedom. And we all are striving for freedom. We have political freedom, but that is not freedom. We are to strive for our spiritual freedom. So this is and there are various ways, fasting and various kinds of what kind of food one should take. So all this, these principles, food, behavior pattern, everything depends. And then, another very special thing in Jainism. When someone wants to depart from this world, they take a vow to have food selective, amount. Gradually they decrease the amount, and one day he stops. Even water he stops, he or she, and he departs silently from this world. So this Sallokana. So voluntary, gradual reduction of food, and then one day he silently passes away. Dhyan is very important in Jainism. As Pravachana Sara, Kunda, one is two sects are there, Digambara and Shvetambara. Digambara means who has quarters as his clothes. That means no clothes. They don't wear any clothes. And secondly, Digambara is white dressed. So Shvetambara and Digambara. So this Kunda is follower of Digambara. They take So what they meditate on. I, the pure self. I am the pure self. I am not others. I am this self. The others means not a jiva, not these things. I am not thing. or whatever is object. I am not the object. I am the subject, eternal subject. I am not others. They are not mine. And they don't belong to me. I am only. So onlyness, Kaivalya. So Bhagavan Mahavir also attained that Kaivalya. I am one knowledge, soul, the pure self. And then they have, I think I'm going, what's the time? Next. Done. Oh, sorry. So I'll stop here with a prayer. Because I don't. Here, to forgive everyone and also to forgive, everyone should forgive me. So they have prayers. Khami me sabba jive, sabba jiva khamantu me, mitti me sabba bhuyasu, veram majjana kirnai. I grant forgiveness to all living beings. May all the living beings please forgive me. I have friendship with all the living beings. I have no hostility towards anyone. Upasarga kshayam yanti chittante vignavalaya mana prasannatameti pujyamane jineshware. The true seeker of self possesses the 7 cardinal virtues, namely compassion, peace, equanimity, forgiveness, truthfulness, renunciation, and non-attachment to worldly relations and objects. These qualities keep him constantly vigilant. Other prayers are there, also there, but I am stopping myself. Shivamastu sarva jagataha parahita nirata bhavantu bhutaganaha dosha prayantu nasham sarvatra sukhi bhavatu lokaha. May the entire universe be blessed. May all beings engage in each other's well-being. May all weakness, sickness, and faults diminish. May everywhere be healthy, peaceful, and happy in all respects. Thank you very much.
For enlightening us on Dharma and its practices. Our program certainly has varieties, so I request Toby to sing a song.
All right. What's that? I don't want to be in the light. So, am I out of the light? I'm still in the light?
Come forward.
I prefer the darkness. Just kidding, just kidding. It's an old friend of mine said that I prefer the darkness. I don't know. There we go. Better if it's on. Yeah. I hope it is. I'm going to do a medley of a couple of old songs that I remember hearing ever since I was born. I've heard these songs. See if you can sing along with me or come in some of the parts of the words. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now blind, but now I see. Was grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fear relieved. How precious through that grace, the hour I first believed. Many dangers, toils, and snares have already come. 'Twas grace that brought us safe thus far. Grace will lead us home. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. You know, I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. We've been here 10,000 years, like shining as the sun. We there's days to sing God's praise, and when the first begun, amazing how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. I see. Got the whole world in his hands. He 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 got the wind and the rain in his hand. He got the wind and the rain in his hand. He got the wind and the rain in his hand. He got the whole world in his hand. He got the little bitty baby in his hand. He got the little bitty baby in his hand. He got the little bitty baby in his hand. He got the whole world in his hand. He got you and me, brother, in his hand. He got you and me, sister, in his hand. He got everybody everywhere in his hand. He got the whole world in his hand. He got the little bitty baby in his hand. He got the little bitty baby in his hand. He got the little bitty baby in his hand. He got the whole world in his hand. He's got the riches and the seals for his hands. He's got the riches and the seals for his hands. He's got the riches and the seals for his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. Everybody, he's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole wide world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He got the whole world in his hands. In his hands.
Thank you very much for such a vibrant song and really much appreciated. And this, I think this is a good welcome for the Swami Vivekananda, who is our leader and beloved. Arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached. Now I humbly request Swami Ishanandaji Maharaj to address us today.
My thanks to everybody and especially to Swami ji who gave me this wonderful opportunity to come back again and see you all again. This center last night I was telling in our satsang that is very dear to me because of the wonderful atmosphere that it has created through the ages by the living presence of very holy swamis and bunch of wonderful, really genuine, loving devotees. So today is a wonderful coincidence, as it has been reminded to us several times, that this is the wonderful, auspicious Independence Day of our country, as well as this is the very special day that our very dear Swamiji, he picked up for his final departure, Mahasamadhi. So this coincidence is very auspicious, and we are here to celebrate that. And especially we have remembered Swamiji again and again, because had it not been him, that we don't know where we would be now. He has given us a wonderful life. We are living a much more elevated and enjoyable life, spirited also. Spirituality and religion is not in going away from everybody and just trying our own individual salvation. This is a wonderful gift that we received from Swamiji. That spirituality and living a righteous life and a religious life is a celebration of life. People are misunderstood and misguided who think that celebration of life is about going deep into the muck of sense enjoyment. Not. We learn from Swamiji. And therefore, this is the day to celebrate Swamiji. Most of us are long followers of Swamiji. We say that Sri Ramakrishna is the lighthouse and he is dictating us or giving us the direction. We say so, that he is the lighthouse. But it was through Swamiji that we understood what he wanted us to do. If there was no Swami Vivekananda, then first of all, the message of Sri Ramakrishna would not have been spread out all over the world. Swamiji actually translated Sri Ramakrishna into our language, our means ordinary human beings' language. The deep spiritual message of Sri Ramakrishna and his lifestyle, the kind of example of deeply engaged in very rarefied atmosphere of spirituality that Sri Ramakrishna was living, that could not have been followed by anybody in the world. It was beyond our reach. We dared to walk on the path of spirituality and call ourselves a follower of Sri Ramakrishna because it was translated. What he wanted or what he said, and what was the meaning of all these things, who we are and what we are doing here and what is religion and what is spirituality and how to do everything. Everything that Sri Ramakrishna said was translated into our language. Our means the mental vibration that we are living in by Swamiji. So we cannot express in language the indebtedness that we have gotten to Swamiji. So how much misunderstanding he has removed from our life. When Swamiji was there during his time and the time of Sri Ramakrishna, people were there, they thought that they are following religion and they understood what it was. They called it Sanatana Dharma, Hinduism. I'm talking about Indian people when they were there. And what they were doing, that those who were the believers in Vaishnavism, they completely hated Shaktas, the followers of Shakti and Kali, and slaughtering, they call it, offering Balidan of animal sacrifice. The Vaishnavas absolutely could not accept it, understood it, what it is going on. The bloodshed and all this, and they call it religion. And the Shaktas, they absolutely hated Vaishnavas equally for many different reasons. And then there were Shaivas and there were others, Ganapathyas, and then there were those who were the followers of formless, meditating on Brahman, path of Advaita, non-dual, these, that, and they really did not like each other. They were not killing each other. That is the great blessing of the Sanatana Dharma. They were not killing each other, but they did not like each other. And they considered that the other was wrong. They did not understand it. And taking this opportunity during the time of the colonial rule in India, the colonial rulers, they divided the whole nation into many different small groups and religion also. And they brought in their people and writers and historians and so-called intellectuals and then the Christian missionaries. They told that Hinduism is not one religion. It is not one religion. How could it be? There are different groups of people, they are worshipping different gods. And they have got different practices, and they are different lifestyles, and there are rituals, and they are everything different. They have their own scriptures, religious books, and it is not one religion. It is a basket of different religions in one place, and you're for a long time you are calling it one religion. Hinduism, it is not. So a large number of people back in India, they started believing that. They also started saying, yeah, maybe it was Swami Vivekananda who gave us, who were born and brought up in India, and many others who were of Indian origin, their identity brought back to them. And they said that, no, it is all in a wrong guidance and advice that you are under now. That is not the point, that who is worshipping which form of God. And this is the wonderful freedom that we are enjoying. This is the wonderful freedom we are enjoying. We are all following one religion, and that religion is the religion of Vedas. It is the one scripture, Veda. The last word or the gist or the main point of Veda is called Vedanta. That is the last word of Vedanta. That is the final word. Veda, Anta. Anta means the final. So this is the final end thing, the sum total of it, that is Vedanta, which is available in Upanishad, which is available in Bhagavad Gita, in many other scriptures it is available. All the different forms of worshipping God, this is a wonderful freedom we are enjoying, but all of them, they are following Vedanta. All of them are following Vedanta. All of them are talking about that one God. God is one without a name and form and beyond our reach of mind and speech. You may call him Brahman, but it is by word or name, it is not restricted. And a reflection of that Brahman is in each one of you, or even the inferior creatures. We call it the self. And the realization of the truth of Brahman is not that easy and simple because of a mysterious cover, a power of that Brahman which has appeared, and that we call Maya. And then there is the many different ways this has manifested itself. We call it the entire creation, the whole universe. But ultimately we can achieve and realize the truth of it, which is then the release from this continuous transmigration through many, many births, or this reflection of Brahman, and that is what we call liberation of the soul, and these many different lives. This has got a rule, why it happens, how it happens. We call it doctrine of karma. And all these things, doctrine of karma, rebirth of the soul, and many different transmigration, and many different things, they are believed by each and every sect. It doesn't matter. You are a Vaishnava, you are a Shakta, you are a Ganapati, you are a what you are. Or you don't believe in all these gods and goddesses, you believe in God, all-pervading pure consciousness, and you are meditating on that formless God, and whatever you are doing, you are believing in those principles, and that is Vedanta. So the first gift he gave was the gift he gave to his own countrymen, who were totally mistaken and who himself were brainwashed for 200 years, and they started believing that they really are not one people. And Swamiji gave them the gift of their own identity. And then he came to this country. Today I said to Swamiji that let it be called the topic in the footsteps of Swami Vivekananda. Because all of us that we are living now and enjoying living in a religious life, we are walking in the footsteps of Swami Vivekananda. He is our guide. He has told us which direction to go, what it is, where. So he walked very kindly on this land, and then he gave to the rest of the world outside his motherland this wonderful gift of the same thing called Vedanta. He gave the gift of Vedanta to his own countrymen and told the people there that you are not Shakta or Ganapata or Vaishnava, you are followers of Vedanta. And then he came to this country and he again gave the gift of Vedanta. I don't have a long time to give you a long lecture. Already you are saturated with many, many talks and wonderful things. Just I give you the three wonderful areas of Vedanta that he gave as a gift. When he gave the gift of Vedanta to the world, the whole world, their eyes were open slowly. When the whole humanity, the great human civilization through many different countries that have been growing and developing and trying to understand what is what, that is in this modern era, they are they have the opportunity of exchanging their views and meeting each other much closely and trying to understand each other better. It is a different world. It is a different world. And for this world, this is what Swami Vivekananda gave, his wonderful gift. He gave Vedanta as the religion of future. There are some talks by Swami Vivekananda. He says why he considers Vedanta as the religion of future. So these are the three different areas that we can pay more attention later on. You can do more studies and understand it better. Number one, the world is changing towards democratic values. The authoritarian dictatorship and all these things, the rule of the crown, they are slowly, even in places where they are still lingering a little bit, they are not really a living system anymore. Democracy is the norm. Vedanta is the spiritual democracy or democratic spiritual practice. What is that? It is about giving people a freedom to understand, to ask questions, to have a clarity about what is what, and then go for the right thing that suits him or her. This is the religion of the future, where you are not bound by any kind of dogma or any kind of stricture, any kind of ritualistic ideology that you must do it, must follow it, and you must not see this or that side. That is an authoritarian system. Vedanta gives you all freedom. Vedanta tells you, well, do you like formless? Do you better feel comfortable with form? If it is with form, then which one? We have got many different choices available to you. What kind of worship you want? A little more ritualistic, little less ritualistic. What kind of, with shoes you want to go? Without shoes, shoe outside, etc., etc. All sorts of choices also there. And then Vedanta says, that's fine. You go with that and you reach the same goal. So don't worry. It is okay. This is a spiritual democracy. That is Vedanta. Without compromising in the supreme value of spirituality, that is God realization first hand, face-to-face realization. It is not that because somebody has said that yes, God does exist, therefore you believe it. No. It is about challenging you that you do it and you find it out and then you accept it like that. Like you go to Costco and they give you a little taste yourself. And then if you like it, then buy it. It is aisle number 216. Like that. That kind of thing. This is your choice, your choice. It is not the with a feeding bottle forcibly put in your mouth. No. Your choice. You like it, take it. This is one. Number two, spiritual humanism. With all sorts of religious practices, all sorts of spirituality, humanism is a part of it. And even those who are not following any religion, they go for humanism. And humanism is a stepping stone for spirituality also. As Sri Ramakrishna, many of you know about it from the gospel we read, he visited a great humanist of his time. His name was Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, living in Calcutta, great humanist and wonderful, loving, generous person, but he was not a practicing religious person in any way. But Sri Ramakrishna appreciated his humanism and all the things. So, humanism, either it is openly associated, attached with religion or anything, or not, a secular humanism, another thing. All sorts of other humanism, they have got a reservation about whom to support and whom they love and like, and some kind of a group is there. Vedanta goes for spiritual humanism without any discretion of color of the skin, caste, cultural background, ethnicity, religious background, anything. It is about spiritual humanism. What is that? Of course, it was taught by Sri Ramakrishna. Spiritual humanism is that we are not helping anybody. We are worshipping God here. Everywhere we see God alone. And there only we are going and worshipping Him. So humanism, it is not a humanism, secular kind of a thing. That, hey, you are poor, homeless man, okay, I give you $1. No. It is seeing the Lord everywhere, serving Him with all love and all respect. And that extends to not only all sorts of human forms, but all animal kingdom and the nature, Mother Nature, everywhere. This was taught by Sri Ramakrishna, and Swami Vivekananda explained it. Shivogyana Jiva Seva. He said, don't call it that you are doing good to others. What others? It is not other. It is the Lord Himself is residing there. And what you can do is only go and worship Him there. So Swami Vivekananda says that after all the my God, the poor my God, the miserable my God, the illiterate, downtrodden kind of thing. They are my God, and I want to worship Him there. And he invoked all his followers, go and worship God here. It is a spiritual humanism. The humanism raised to a level never seen before. And the third one, the aspect of this following the path of Vedanta given by Swamiji is the vision of united whole world, the world as one, the vision of the world as one, as in one organic body, in the middle of which resides one soul, the universal soul, which is your soul, your Atman. And there is no difference or segregation or distinction between you and anybody else. All Atman or all self is one without a second. This is the teaching of Vedanta. That is what Swami Vivekananda tried to explain through his many lectures and writings, Jnana Yoga and many other places. And this unity, this is the bond of universal oneness, which is a spiritual oneness. It is not a bond on the basis of color, creed, caste, religious alignment, or nationality, or any kind of bond. There are so many kind of bonds are there where people are trying to bond together and say, we are one. We are all one. But we means who? Followers of certain kind of doctrine or dogmas, or how they look like, or what is the skin color or something, they are all one. No, Vedanta has got a much sublime, much more universal, much more grander, a spiritual view of oneness, where the whole world is organically one body, which is the manifestation of that one without a second, that has manifested itself, become Vyakta. Avyakta has become Vyakta. Unmanifest has become manifested, and that has become this entire creation. And in the center lies that one soul, and that soul is the soul of all, that one self, which is in me and you, same way. It looks different, but it is not different. So you and me and all are one, and it is truly one, and this oneness is the spiritual oneness that is taught by Vedanta. So Swami Vivekananda's gift to the world is this grand gift, the gift of Vedanta, and we who really love Swamiji for providing us this very uplifted and wonderful lifestyle, that we can live our life. He has given us freedom. He has given us freedom to live our life whatever way you love to live. It is okay. But understand that underlying principles of Vedanta, and then you love it, then you will be spiritually also be progressing and growing much faster for attainment of that supreme freedom. That is the goal of these spiritual practices. So we are so proud of Swami Vivekananda, so thankful of Swami Vivekananda, so grateful of Swami Vivekananda, and today we are celebrating Swami Vivekananda. Thank you very much.
Humble salutations to you, Swamiji. Now I request our Paul to sing a song for us.
I'll just introduce this for a second. I'm basically just going to hit play. So, oh yeah, didn't get lightheaded like last time. Anyhow, oh yeah. So thank you. This, as Swami was saying, the sorry, I'm a little taller. The message is eternal, but the presentation in this particular case is a little modern. So hopefully you dig it, and that's my offering. And this is actually especially an offering to the disciples of Swami Aseshananda, who he is their guru. And Terrence, I hope it's cool with you. The other is this is from a lecture or two lectures in 1974 that we have in the Vedanta archives and are digitized, and actually you can hear the full lecture through our website, which is cool. And you can, so this you'll, with music. And the last, Swami Divishananda is a guest Veena player on this recording. So he came to the studio and it was cool. So,
Are we supposed to sing?
no, you can just read along and, oh, and yeah, so, oops, sorry, yeah. Basically, you know, pleasure and pain are the two sides of the same coin, right? What goes up must come down, etc. And you'll hear as it goes along. So thank you, and here we go. Let's see. Sorry. Okay.
Big mother soul is life. Is life, is life. So pleasure and pain are two sides of the same coin. Pleasure and pain are two sides of the same coin. Pleasure and pain are two sides of the same coin. Pleasure and pain are two sides, two sides, two sides. And life is so. Initia the producer says, I am Brahman, I am Brahman. Initia the producer says, I'm Brahman, I am Brahman, I am Brahman, I am Brahman. I am not matter, I am not a physical human being, I am not a limited person, I am the immortal soul, the immortal soul. Are the two sides of the same coin. Pleasure and pain are the two sides of the same coin. Pleasure and pain are the two sides of the same coin. Pleasure and pain are the two sides, two sides, two sides. What you call suffering is an element of. We live in the world of time and space. Time and space. And as long as we are in this world of time and space, time and space, our suffering will come again and again in such form. Not always, but for such time. Real life is something which always remains us. And enlightened soul is always happy. Pleasure and pain are the two sides of the same coin. Pleasure and pain are the two sides of the same coin. Pleasure and pain are the two sides of the same coin. Pleasure and pain are the two sides, two sides, two sides. But pain is soul. And so this is the consciousness to give us pain. This life. This life. It is not an intellectual thing. But pain. This life. This life is life. This life. This life is life. But pain. The immortal soul. This life. This life is life.
Thank you for that. Was excellent. Amazing. Wow. Now,
Thank you to both of you.
it's time for gratitude, expressing our gratitude. So we express gratitude to all and also to each other. To invoke this, I request Dr. Terence Homer to present the vote of thanks.
Coming from one side of the coin to the other side of the coin. Very moved. On behalf of Swami Chandrasekhara, the Board of Trustees of the Vedanta Society of Portland, and the entire Portland Vedanta community, we offer sincere thanks to the many participants and volunteers responsible for pulling together and to present this Interfaith Freedom Fest. It's truly a delight to be here with all of you and to have this visiting Swamis and visiting music from another galaxy. First, we particularly want to express our gratitude to revered Swami Ishtananda, Swami in charge of the Vedanta Society of Southern Florida, for accepting our invitation and sharing his presence with us today. His enlightening presentation in the footsteps of Swami Vivekananda brings his awareness closer to our heart. Another special thanks goes to Swami Chandrasekharananda, Swami Devishananda, Hurley in presenting the short formal worship that we started our morning off. We were also moved and grateful for Swami Chandrasekharananda's presentation on the Jain Dharma and its practices. We're more than grateful to him for his tireless service as an inspiration to all of us in so many ways. We'd also like to take this opportunity to offer our appreciation to Michael Navarro. Michael Navarro is here. Michael, I want you to stand up. Michael and I have known each other through many past lives. And this past life has been dealing with 4 different shrines. And the Jain shrine is his construction after Swami Chandrasekharananda's design. He had the patience and fortitude and the strength and the skills to put it into action, into being. And it's because of his ability that we have gathered here today to dedicate that shrine. Come on.
So we are very grateful that we could complete the construction of Jainism shrine. So on all of you, on behalf of all of you, we are presenting a little gift to him as a memento of, and also as a token of love. Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
And John is there. Thank you. Yes. Yeah. John Hinault is there.
And another great devotee of service is Mr. John Hinault, who single-handedly put together the Advaita shrine after it was destroyed partially by a tree a year and a half ago.
Is he here?
Is John here?
He wanted to come anyway.
He's here in spirit. And he's here in the Advaita shrine as he climb up to the top point part of the retreat. Our warm gratitude also goes out to the following participants: Thomas Lishutz for reading Chaitanya's prayer, Susie Pia Kameli for recitation of Swamiji's great poem on the 4th of July, Shine Dev for his inspired readings from the Gospel of Ramakrishna, Toby Pollock for his song and personal music offering, the most universal song probably sang in America, and to Paul Goldowitz for his unbelievably creative, inspired song offering. Great job. Who will go down in history of 86th anniversary of the Vedanta retreat. Nice. 86 years, folks. Wow. He's starting a new generation. In advance, we'd like to express our gratitude for Jyoti Ramachandra for her beautiful, which is still to come. We also want to an army of selfless members, volunteers, serving those of us who were fortunate enough to gather here today, those preparing and serving the food prasad downstairs today, the battalion of Karma Yogins that clean up the yard, polish the main temple inside and out, using members responsible for the unsung members for the responsible making of the karans, setting up the fountain net. Let's hand this back over to Swami, and he can give you the layout of the time frame.
after this closing song, then we'll proceed for his photo session as we do. And then after lunch, then we'll go to the Jain shrine. We'll have a short, very short, say worship ritual, and then we'll offer prayer, and then we'll circumambulate it, and Jyotima will lead the prayer, whatever prayer that you will, or we will do that. Just we'll have a circumambulation, and then that's our offering. It is for the welfare of all. It is for encouraging all those who are working for goodness, for betterment of this society and world as a whole. So this is our offering. This will be the new edition, and hopefully next year we'll have another shrine that is also being built. So let it be not to be disclosed now. And then we'll have a short tour of that all the shrines, those who are interested and those who can do it, please come with us. Yes.
So we'll have a closing song by a Vedanta Bhajan singing group.
Stand. This is in praise of Swami Vivekananda. Who is the breaker of all limitations.
My salutations to the remover of differing and divisive religious ideas who is worshipped by the world, who took a human form to disseminate knowledge and devotion, who has transcended the bondage of household life and has totally conquered lust, who has outshined exquisite form and whose voice excels the veena. Intoxicated with love, he danced and roared, "Be fearless, be fearless." He crossed the lands and oceans for the emancipation of mankind. Subduer of the cunning and deceitful and charmer of the virtuous, O Swami Vivekananda, son of Ramakrishna, the whole mankind adores you. Dharamaveda Bhanjana Vande Jagata Vandana Dharamaveda Bhanjana Vande Jagata Vandana Jnana Bhakti Vitarane Nara Sharira Dharana Jnana Bhakti Vitarane Nara Sharira Dharana Vande Jagata Vandana Dharamaveda Bhanjana Vande Jagata Vandana Vikata Geha Bandhana Vidita Meena Kendana Vikata Geha Bandhana Vidita Meena Kendana Rupe Kama Ganjana Vani
वन्दना वन्दे जगद्वन्दना परमवेदभञ्जना वन्दे जगद्वन्दना प्रेममातनातना अभिरभिः गर्जना प्रेममातनातना अभिरभिः गर्जना भूधरसागररङ्गना जीवतारणकारणा भूधरसागररङ्गना जीवतारणकारणा जीवतारणकारणा वन्दे जगद्वन्दना धर्मवेदभञ्जना वन्दे जगद्वन्दना कूटकपटिमर्दना सज्जनमनोमोहना कूटकपटिमर्दना सज्जनमनोमोहना विश्वमानव वन्दे तोमाय रामकृष्ण नन्दना विश्वमानव वन्दे तोमाय रामकृष्ण नन्दना रामकृष्ण नन्दना वन्दे जगद्वन्दना धर्मवेदभञ्जना वन्दे जगद्वन्दना ज्ञानभक्तिवितरणे नरशरीरधारणा ज्ञानभक्तिवितरणे नरशरीरधारणा वन्दे जगद्वन्दना धर्मवेदभञ्जना वन्दे जगद्वन्दना धर्मवेदभञ्जना